Hi, my name's Annabella Ritzer, and I'm here to talk to you about water pollution. People are dying right now, this very minute. People are dying, and there is something you and I can do about it. Clean water. We take it for granted. We turn a faucet, and there it is. That's not the way it is for most of us. Mothers, fathers, sisters, brothers, and infants are suffering and dying from not being able to access clean water. Instead, they are getting polluted, dirty water, polluted with toxins like pesticides, oil, chemicals, plastic, viruses, and even raw sewage. Imagine things you clean your floor with, or make your engine run, being in water you drink every day, causing chloria, typhoid, malaria, and diarrhea. Every year, 250 million people worldwide succumb to diseases related to water pollution. During the time I'm talking to you right now, 475 people have become sick because of water pollution. Together, you and I can fix this. Be careful what you throw down your sinks and toilets. Use environmental-friendly household products. Take great care to not overuse pesticides and fertilizers. Do not litter and conserve water. Doing simple things like these, we can be the ones to help make the difference. Let's do this.
The importance of sporting equipment. In contact sports, injury prevention is a very important factor to most athletes. There is a large importance to safety gear that athletes put on themselves while playing a sport. In hockey, I cover myself in hockey equipment before stepping on the ice. I put on a helmet with a cage, shoulder pads, elbow pads, shin pads, gloves, and a mouth guard.
Helmets protect the head from the brain injuries like concussions. The reasons you want to know this is because there is about 1.6 to 3.8 million concussions per year in the U.S. You can get very bad injuries from life experiences you learn. I was hit by a car and got really messed up. I would not have this scar if I had not been hit by this car.
Dan Hamhuis on the Dallas Stars was not wearing a cage attached to his helmet. He took a puck to the face and got a facial fracture, which is also known as a broken bone to the face. He was in the hospital recovering from surgery for 2 months. It could have been avoided if he only had one more piece of protective equipment.
Protective equipment is an important factor in contact sports because wearing an extra piece of equipment can be the difference from having a great season and having to take a trip to the hospital and being done for the rest of the season because of an injury.
Hi, I'm Victoria Allen,
And I'm Chase Hammond.
and we are here to talk about drug addiction. Drug addiction is a chronic disease characterized by drug seeking and use that is compulsive or difficult to control despite harmful consequences.
There are many different kinds of addictive drugs that all have different effects on the mind, body. These include stimulants, depressants, hallucinogens, dissociatives, opioids, inhalants, cannabis, and alcohol, and many more.
Most drugs affect the brain's reward circuit by flooding it with the chemical messengers dopamine. This overstimulation of the reward circuit causes the intensely pleasurable high that can lead to people taking drugs over and over again.
Long-term use can also cause changes in other brain chemical systems and circuits, as well as judgment, decision-making, stress, memory, and behavior.
Constant drug abuse can lead to mental illnesses, in some cases mental disorders such as anxiety, depression, schizophrenia. They all may proceed.
Now, knowing the possible physical and mental detriments of using drugs, would you still want to continue and use them after knowing these facts?
Vaping and smoking is the new trend these days. Have you ever stopped to think about what you're breathing in or how it's affecting you? It's not worth it. The long-term effects can be serious and cause things such as heart disease, stroke, COPD, mouth cancer, along with many other illnesses. ARDS or wet lung is a disease common with excessive vaping. It usually leaves the person hospitalized and in intensive care. You can even end up in a respiratory failure from vaping.
Smoking is an addiction that people deal with every day. Some people think vaping is a healthy solution to smoking cigarettes, but studies have shown that vaping has many similar effects on our body as cigarettes do. Vaping has many of the same risks as conventional smoking does. The substances in cigarettes such as carcinogens are found in vape products as well. We hope our message showed you the reality of smoking and vaping and that there really isn't much of a difference at all. Don't light it, fight it.
the sun. It is a giant ball of gas that all of our planets in the solar system revolve around. Life on Earth can be really helped out by a lot by the sun. Humans need vitamin D from the sun to survive, as it promotes calcium absorption in the intestines. Though there are benefits from the sun, we must be weary of its power. UV radiation comes from the sun and is harmful. Now you might be asking yourself, what is UV radiation? UV, or ultraviolet radiation, is the electromagnetic spectrum between visible light and X-rays. There are 3 types of UV radiation: UVA, the least harmful; UVB, a stronger form of this radiation; and UVC is the most harmful. But what effect does UV radiation have on you?
UV radiation can harm your body in a number of ways. One way is by giving you a sunburn. Sunburns are caused by UV radiation and damage to your skin cells. The redness associated with sunburns are due to capillaries filled with extra blood. Another and much more serious problem linked to UV radiation exposure is skin cancer. All over the world, skin cancer is caused by the sun and even tanning beds, and is a large problem. For example, skin cancer claims more lives every year than all other types of cancer combined. This sounds terrible and tragic. How do people protect themselves from this awful future?
That's a good question. There is no way to completely make sure that you never get skin cancer or a sunburn. A great way to prevent it is to wear sunscreen whenever outside for an extended period of time. When wearing sunscreen, there are a few things that you should keep in mind. First, no sunscreen is completely waterproof if you are swimming, even if it says it is waterproof. Apply sunscreen more frequently. Secondly, beware of the possible toxins in some sunscreen. Look to see if your sunscreen has retinol, benzone, and avobenzone. Lastly, don't be too fooled by a high SPE. If the SPE is 50 more percent, will spread it out when they will apply the sunscreen. Do not do this. Apply as if you are using an SPF 50. When you do not have sunscreen, if possible, stay out of the sun between 10:30 and 10 a.m. and 4 p.m. Oh.
Alcoholism in American teenagers is a national crisis. 600,000 teens are suffering from addiction and/or alcohol dependency. Many begin drinking at 13 years of age. If the physical and mental repercussions are not immediate, those who indulge in such risky behavior will suffer later in life.
The human brain is not fully developed until a person has reached their late 20s. Alcohol disrupts the natural development of a brain. It affects your nervous system, leading to malfunctions in everyday behaviors like your reflexes and personality traits. Some physical repercussions include slow bone and tissue growth, impairing organ functions, and disruption of puberty.
Alcoholism has a severe impact on the human mind. It can lead to anxiety, depression, suicidal thoughts, and leave permanent brain damage. Thankfully, many of these addicted teenagers will be treated for their alcoholism. This is called detoxification. Detoxification is a long and very painful process where a person becomes sober. Another treatment is behavioral modification.
Unfortunately, a common result of alcoholism is death. Many get behind the wheel of a car without a second thought. The highest cause of death in teens is car crashes. A quarter of those crashes are due to drinking. There is no benefit to drinking alcohol. It destroys a person's body, and if not treated, alcohol could be the reason their life is cut short.
Type 2 diabetes. Usually when we hear that, we think of an obese kid who eats too much candy, but it's much more than that. Type 2 diabetes is a chronic condition that affects the way your body metabolizes glucose, or sugar. Your body either resists insulin or doesn't produce enough to keep a healthy glucose level. Insulin is a hormone that regulates the movement of sugar in your cells. Some symptoms are frequent thirst, hunger, and urination, weight loss, fatigue, and blurred vision. Some ways to help is to eat healthy and be active to control your blood glucose, or your doctor will need to prescribe your own medication. Talk to your doctor before you take any medication.
Hi, I'm Nicole,
I'm Summer.
and we are here to tell you about a rare disease called cardiac sarcoidosis. This disease occurs when groups of white blood cells called granulomas form in the heart. Granulomas are groups of white blood cells that usually result from an infection. When these groups form, they interfere with electrical impulses. These interferences cause arrhythmias, which are abnormal heartbeats.
Cardiac sarcoidosis is hard to diagnose, but ways such as echocardiograms, electrocardiograms, nuclear imaging, MRIs, and tissue biopsies can help. Before they go in for a diagnosis, people with the disease usually show symptoms. Some of these symptoms include fatigue, fever, swollen lymph nodes, and weight loss. Sometimes people don't show any symptoms.
This disease can be treated with different kinds of steroids, medicines to help suppress the immune system, antiarrhythmic medicines, and pacemakers and ICDs.
This disease can be completely harmless or it can be fatal. Thank you for listening, and I hope you know more about cardiac sarcoidosis.